Okay, so I'm giving this yet another go, and I think the problem is that the instantiation of the particle effect is coming to where it's instantiating on the parent and not on the child. So I want it to instantiate here. So I'm going to just create an empty game object and call it VFX for now. And I'm creating this on the enemy prefab. And then I'm going to, this is pretty sloppy, but this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to serialize a field for the VFX game object. And I'm going to rename this Explode VFX too, because I feel like destroy reminds me of like it actually being destroyed, and I don't want to confuse myself. So then I'm going to actually instantiate it on the VFX object, transform.position. So I'm telling it more specifically where to instantiate, and then I'm going to need to go into the enemy prefab and put this object, which is spelled wrong, there. And you know what? I'm going to change that. Okay, I'm going to name this location just because. Go edit the enemy prefab and back in. Okay, and then I'm going to put this is the VFX location. I'm going to put that into the inspector, and then I have the particle system here as well. I think that's got it finally. So the key was making sure that the one thing I see that I could fix too is that the particle system is being instantiated and then not being destroyed. So that's an issue. It's destroying the game objects, but then not destroying the particle effect. But I will save that for later. Okay, so yeah, the key there was to make sure that the particle system is actually being instantiated on one of the children locations and not on the parent location. That seemed to be what worked for me. So I'm going to go and check that one off. Oh, I already had checked it off prematurely, but now I can actually check it off. Okay, tricky patterns. Figure out how the enemies are moving and create more interesting and varied patterns for their dodging. So I already did that. I went into the animation and I was just playing around here, which is why there are two animations files. And let's see if we can bring this up. So here's one of the blocks, and I'm on and of course I have to be clicked on the body and not on the top level. So I've sort of varied their animation some. They're like moving around and doing some weird stuff. So I guess that's good for that. I'm just basically making the pattern different. Oh, and varied patterns for their dodging. Okay, so this is why, I suppose, now I forgot, but this is why I had the second animation here. You know what, I'm going to go on and do the timer first, because I feel like this will be easier to knock out right now. So I see the timer script is here. It looks like on the canvas there's a timer text field, which has 999 in it right now. And the instruction is finish the script set. We display an ongoing timer in the top corner. For bonus points, show the timer with no decimal places, just whole numbers. Explore the time class in UniDocs and remember to convert your number to a string. Okay, so I guess we want to do, is it time? There's time, dot time. There's time since scene load, I believe. So if we go back in here, have the timer script. Oh, that's not the timer script. I'm going to open the timer script. So we're finding where the text is, and that needs to be serialized where the text field is, and then we're going to print the elapsed time. Whoops. Let's see, to string. So then the timer text dot text is going to be the elapsed time to string. Something like this. Okay. Not sure why I'm getting that there. Oh, of course, because I don't have a semicolon. And then the elapsed time is going to be time dot time since level load. Right, okay, so it's casting it, but it's crazy. It has lots of decimal places. And I know the, I'm not sure if the time since level load will actually be independent. Oh, I see, I'm probably going to need to use this math round function. If the number ends in 5, okay. So math f rounds. And I know there's something important here about the order in which you perform rounding on values. Oh, whoops. So I'm not sure if this is entirely correct, but we're going to see how it goes. So let's see if this does anything. I know there's also a floor and a ceiling you can round to. Okay, so that seems to be working. I'm interested to see once it gets up into higher digits if it screws up. But it looks okay for now. Okay, so the next step is to restart the action. Restart the level after the player collects all the enemies and the celebration fireworks have finished. Make sure your timer resets when the level restarts and use a coroutine. Okay. So we need to find the score. So when the this is funny because I actually had our coroutine in here at one point. So we can do a play win sequence or start win sequence. And feel like this is probably going to end up being a coroutine. But I'm going to have so it's going to restart the level, so there needs to be a delay. So this is maybe when we'll play the particle system. I believe this squiggly line is just because I don't have the yield return new in yet. I don't know, we'll start that at 1F. And then we want to load the scene. So I'm going to just make a reload scene. And I think I need a namespace here. I think it's scene management maybe? Ooh, I don't know. Does that look right? Oh, I think it might be Unity engine.scene management. Okay. And then I know I could create an index here for the scenes, but I think I'm just going to reload it manually. Okay, scene load scene. Oh, scene manager.load scene. Okay. So we need scene manager.load scene, and we'll just load 0, so the first scene. And we need to also reset the timer. So we'll do a public void reset timer. And we'll just do time elapsed time equals 0. Oh, whoops. What am I doing? Okay, and then from the score, we can just hopefully find the object of type, this timer, and then do reset timer. So let's see what this does. Now the pattern is more unpredictable, so I'm having trouble actually hitting the... Okay, and nothing is happening. So what did I not hook up? So we started the win sequence. We know that that worked. Oh, maybe I just didn't yield return wait for... Oh, you know what? So silly. I did not actually call the reload scene method. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, and I think the timer restarted there, so I think we are golden. Now that mysterious, I bet what's happening is what was initially happening, where one of the squares is actually running into the wall, and then it's initiating or instantiating the particle effect. Okay, but for now, I'm going to call that completed. So that's my score script. So I'm calling over to the timer class to call the reset timer method. It's resetting the timer, reloading the scene. Okay. And bullet time. When the hero captures an enemy, briefly slow the game down for just a short amount of time. You know, bullet time style. For bonus points, give the player some sort of indication that the game time has briefly slowed. So I know there's a way to stop the time, like basically to pause the screen, and I can't remember off the top of my head how to do that. Let me just see here. Okay, so after doing some poking around, I think what I need to be doing is using time.timescale. So I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to slow down the Mathy. I assume it starts at 1, so maybe I'll try like 0.5. Let's see what happens. And I didn't actually reinitialize the time, so that's not going to work. So maybe I'll put that on a coroutine. Okay, let's try that now. And I think what I actually need to do is put the time scale back up. I don't know if I need the F in that case, but I'll put it in anyway. Okay, so after some fiddling around with the code, coroutines have always been tricky for me. I've always had to really pause and walk through it so I can follow the logic. So I thought I was doing something wrong with the coroutine, and I've probably made this more complicated than it needs to be, but I think what was happening was that I was starting the coroutine and then immediately destroying the object that the script was residing on, and so that was screwing everything up because the time would slow down, but then it wouldn't start back up again because by that point the object was already destroyed. So instead I'm going to start a coroutine to slow the time, instantiate the particle effect. The time's going to slow down to half speed. Yield return new wait for seconds 1, and then I'm going to destroy the enemy. And then destroy the enemy, I just have a print statement in here just to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. And so it's going to restore the time to the normal speed and then destroy the game object. So let's just make sure that this works. Now it's not going to look very good because I don't have a very nice particle effect on right now. And yep, there we go. So slow down time and then destroy. And this one here being destroyed, I believe it's because it's running into a wall. I think I mentioned that before. Okay, so I'm going to say that that's done. Okay, so we're on to the last challenge, which is to spice it up. Complete your quest by making the game more interesting and visually appealing. So I'm not actually going to do that on camera. I think I'm actually going to end the video here, but I have done most of the challenges from quest number 2, except for the Spice It Up and the animation pattern on camera. I hope that's given you a good sense of what quest 2 encompasses. I had a lot of fun working on the challenges. I thought there was a good balance between some easier material and some trickier material. I did have to spend some time looking things up on Google and the Unity docs, which was good, really helped me solidify my knowledge. And I'm looking forward to going on to quest number 3. Thank you for watching.